Imagine losing everything and refusing to start over. Would you cook up an elaborate scheme to save your lifestyle? Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to This House. Today we are exploring Wilderstein in New York. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. Robert Suckley was born into an incredibly wealthy family. His grandfather, George Suckley, had emigrated to the United States from England, chasing the American dream. George set up shop as a merchant, but quickly became a shipping magnate through a series of wise investments. George then married into the Livingston bloodline, which came with large swaths of land lining the Hudson River. His estate passed through generations, with his son, Thomas, building a modest but stately Italianate house on 32 pristine acres along the Hudson River. When Thomas died, he left the entirety of the family fortune to his only surviving son, Robert. Only one short month had passed since his father's funeral before he went on a spending spree. He headed up to the family estate, known as Wilderstein, and hired architect Arnaud Cannon Jr. to reimagine the existing home as a mansion, but with one stipulation. The family home was not to be torn down, but worked into a new house. The architect set out to study the layout before announcing a plan to build a new house around it, burying the old home inside of a sprawling Queen Anne-style mansion. But construction would not stop there. The grounds were reimagined to include a 10,000 square foot carriage house to complement the main house. In addition, a gatehouse was built at the entrance of the estate, and a boathouse was added by the river. For the interior of the main home, Robert hired Joseph Burr Tiffany, the nephew of Louis Comfort Tiffany, to complete the interior design. Now that the house was finished, Robert could see the highly ornamented interior which he had paid top dollar to have Tiffany design. Pulling up the drive in a horse-drawn carriage, you would step out below the porte-cochere and make your way towards the front door, noticing stained glass surrounding the door in the intricate fashion for which Tiffany was known. Walking inside, you would enter the stair hall, clad with wood paneling from floor to ceiling. A built-in seat joined with stairs, continuing upward with carved balustrade, joining on newel posts supporting flamboyant lanterns in the form of statuary, such as the griffin lamp atop the master newel post with bat-like wings and sharp fangs protruding from the serpentine body. To complement the built-in seating was an ingle nook, ensuring that upon arriving home, you would be greeted by a warm fire. Continuing on, in stark contrast to the dark woods found in the entrance hall, was the white and gold room, finished out in the Louis XVI style, with gold leaf garland and fanciful pediments above the doors and windows. Of the finer details, we can find floral relief work carved into the thin columns supporting some of the windows. At the top of the room, the walls dramatically curved above the frieze to join with the ceiling, where layers of millwork framed a round mural. Though smaller murals could be found in some of the other framed ceiling sections, such as musical instruments and geometric patterns playfully surrounding the central mural. Continuing to the living room, and true to the American colonial style, overstuffed sofas were situated above colorful rugs with floral borders. On the walls, damask wallpaper stretched from floor to ceiling, and on the ceiling, if we look closely, we will notice plaster garland curving as it dances about the perimeter. Next, we will arrive in the dining room, where we will find a stunning display of craftsmanship as each section of wainscoting bevels. The curves of the lower mantel break from the geometric millwork to bring the eyes upwards, layer by layer, as we find intricate relief work in each section of the fireplace, until our eyes rest on the coffered ceilings with inlaid relief work soaring overhead. To the side was a heraldic stained glass window featuring a coat of arms reading, Si je puis, or translated to, If I Can. We will then find the library, finished out in a mixture of the Moorish and Flemish styles, with half-height bookcases wrapping around the room. Every surface was overflowing with books and trinkets. Though towering above the clutter, a series of stained glass windows rose towards the ceilings, with millwork rounding out and dramatically pointing upwards. Taking a look behind the scenes of this estate, we will enter the servants' kitchen, where we can see a range set against a tiled wall. And on the other end of the room, you could enter the pantry to find glass display cases safely storing the family's collection of fine china. Robert started a family here with his wife Bessie and had 5 children, though one passed away from illness during childhood. Shortly after, during the Panic of the 1890s, the Suckleys moved to Switzerland to wait out the recession. Robert returned stateside often for business, but while he was in the US, he would buy things and have them stored at the house. Later, he brought his family back to the United States to send his 3 boys off to Harvard for college, and soon after decided to relocate back to Wilderstein permanently. Of his 3 sons, only Henry managed to graduate while the other 2 flunked out. During World War I, Henry felt compelled to join the military, but was killed during an airstrike in Albania. Upon hearing the news of their brother's death, the other 2 Suckley brothers joined the military and returned alive, though neither of them ever married nor had children. A few years later, in 1921, Robert passed away. Neither of the Suckley boys were adequate enough to run a business, so the family fortune quickly dwindled. The only person able to keep the family name relevant now was Robert's daughter, Daisy, who had been mostly overlooked throughout her life. She was a social butterfly and could get to really know someone with just a short conversation. After her father's death, she reconnected with her 6th cousin, Franklin Roosevelt, before he ran for president. This would prove to be a pivotal moment for maintaining her social status and continuing to maintain Wilderstein. After FDR was elected, Daisy visited the White House frequently and even helped FDR plan his cottage in Hyde Park, where she would later attend a royal picnic with Queen Elizabeth of England. Daisy did her best to keep up appearances. Even though she was dining with kings and queens, she had run out of money. She went to work for her aunt, caring for her in her old age, and in exchange, she received an allowance to continue her lifestyle. FDR heard the news of her aunt's passing, and in an act of kindness, offered her a job at his presidential library, where she worked until 1963. This job allowed her to save up money to continue living at Wilderstein, but it still was not enough. As she got older, she never fell victim to illness and just continued to age. So at the age of 89 years old, she realized she needed to keep planning for the future. She established a nonprofit organization and donated her house to that organization with one condition: that she could live out the rest of her life in the home, and she did just that. In 1991, she passed away in her beloved family home. Whether she really wanted the house to be preserved or just cooked up a scheme to live big on a tiny budget, it did not matter. Her desperation ended up saving the house for future generations to enjoy, and to this day, it continues to be open for public tours. Which room was your favorite? Make sure to let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. I would also like to take a moment to say a special thank you to our This House supporters whose names you can see on screen right now. If you would like to see your name on the screen, please consider joining our membership program today. I'll see you next time on This House.